Mark Larsen here for the Dreamcatcher podcast. Thanks for joining me. Actually, I'm recording this on a Friday morning. It's gonna be a really hot day. Got my kombucha, and yeah, this podcast episode has come about for quite a bit of time, and actually, it kind of hit home yesterday. Actually, the person who was going to do the podcast had an issue with having something with his mouth, and needed dental work, and he had to go to the bank and see if he could get enough money to go to the dentist. And where I was at, actually, I was in a coffee shop, and imagine that. And I mean, I don't drink coffee all the time. I drink a lot of it though, and it was just like in the coffee shop, it kind of became the conversation of how many people needed to go to the dentist, Cheryl and I included. We both have a broken tooth, and or the doctor, or get their car fixed, or whatever it is, and nobody can do it. You know, you almost need to get a loan to go to the doctor, go to the dentist, get your car work done, whatever it is. And where did we come to that point in this country, United States, where we need to have that? This is something that I believe keeps a lot of people from living their best life, getting their dreams. And they got a Ren back there talking, he agrees. And there's so many things that we can't do anymore because you can't afford it. College. When I went to college, a long time ago, back in the 80s, um, it was a fraction of the cost now. I couldn't afford to go to college now. And actually, I got 2 degrees. And, you know, it was good. College education's always good. But and this house, Cheryl and I couldn't, this house I'm looking at right now, that Cheryl and I've owned for quite a while now. And yeah, we probably couldn't do it. Our mortgage is $458 a month. You can't even rent for that now, especially a house. And we have 5 acres here. And granted, we are in Nebraska, but it's still pricey around here. You go to the town like Hastings or Kearney, where I do it at those coffee shops. I mean, it's unbelievable how much rent is. Way over 1,000, and to buy $2,000 to $3,000 a month. Who can do that? The bad thing is when you use that money for one expense, like getting a house, going to the dentist, going to the doctor, and a lot of times with the doctor and the dentist, it's a non-negotiable. You don't have an option. I mean, maybe the dentist, because Cheryl and I've had a broken tooth, each of us, for quite a while, and we actually have a great dentist. Actually, she's our neighbor, and she's very reasonable compared to most dentists, and she's awesome. So, but we still haven't done it because it's still gonna be a lot of money. And everybody's like, "Well, why don't you have insurance?" It's like, we can't afford insurance. Insurance has gotten so pricey that we can't afford it. Um, Anybody who's watched this, I have, for the first time in my life, do not have health insurance this year because it's in the thousands per month for the premium. And like I told my wife, I said, if I can afford that for a premium, I'll probably self-insure. And self-insuring anyway, because I can't afford the insurance. And the doctor, my doctor's awesome. Dr. Althouse is great. And that's the nice thing about living in a small community where people know each other. And I gotta have a drink here. But how many things that you would be doing with that money and time? Because I talked to people, and that was also a part of the conversation yesterday. These people, they're sick, but they can't take the time to be sick because they got to make the money to even get by on the bare minimum of living in this country. So where did we go wrong? Because it wasn't that way that many years ago, and I blame our government big time. Um, I think there's a manipulation there, whether it's the Democrat, Republican, whatever it is. I'm an independent. I stay out of politics, but I do see the regulations, the nonstop regulations, and I'm not against regulations, but the nonstop stupid regulations that we put on there that cost multi figures to implement, and it never ends. And or the taxes, the taxes in Nebraska are crazy, but I know there's a lot of places in the country that also have terrible property taxes. I mean, our valuation went up 5 figures for this coming year. Um, you know, I can't imagine that it needs to go up that much. but all that does is keep people from getting their dreams, and that's sad. And I don't believe it has to be that way. How was it back? You know, 50s, 60s, 70s. I think it maybe changed a little bit in the 70s. Um, I was just growing up in the 70s and stuff, so I don't really remember it that much. Um, I know there were issues. There's always issues, but I don't believe that, you know, we need a new central air unit. I can't even imagine. I know it'd be 5 figures. Well, we're dealing without having insurance or without having insurance, having AC, even on a day like this, which is all right now. But you know, and my ancestors, you know, they didn't have air conditioning, and we're doing fine. Humidity is quite high, but it's a beautiful day. I mean, there's no wind. It's a little humid, um, but I'm blessed. But I'm not dealing with as much as some of these people. There's this one gal. I mean, she works like I don't know how many jobs, and then she goes to work sick because she has to. And I know so many people, young people, that are having to deal with that. That's wrong. That is so wrong. And I blame state government, but I truly blame the federal government. And we have these people running for office now, and I'm probably going to call them out because rather than saying what they're going to do for us, they go and bash their opponent. What does that tell me? For one thing, it's sophomoric, it's childish. Um, get out there and tell me what you can do for us, and prove it. What you've done, your history. I want to know what your history is. I don't want to do this childish thing. It's like, oh, he's doing this. I won't do that. You know, and it's just like, come on, grow up. And this guy should know better. The one I'm thinking about. And but they all do it. It's the way politics is. And I would think because I think things are maybe changing quite a bit in the United States, whether you like Trump or not. I'm an independent. I think Trump. One thing he's an action taker. Um, yeah, I've mixed feelings on that, but I just think that there's a lot of things that maybe are getting exposed, and I think until these things get exposed and we have universal health care, universal health insurance. I don't understand. We're always supposedly touting ourselves as, you know, we're number one. You know, we do it all right. And we're not doing it all right in healthcare. We are not. And I'm not bashing anybody in healthcare. And I've talked about this before. Why don't we have healthcare? Why don't we go and look at the country with the best healthcare, the system that people go, the people that go, you know, to fly to Mexico because they can actually take the trip, have a procedure done down there, and still make it more, have it more reasonable than having it here locally. That says something right there. Dental, you know, eyes, you know, and we have great person we you know optometrist, I guess is what that'd be. She's awesome too. Pretty reasonable, but it's getting to the point where you can't go to the doctor, and if you can't go to the doctor and get stuff done, you're sure not going to catch your dreams. And what are we going to do about that? You know, what are we as a people in this country, United States, and maybe worldwide, going to do about that? Because I talked to people in Australia, and it sounds like they maybe have similar issues, and then this stuff where they forget who we are. You know, it's we the people in the United States, but these people they look at that the government as an entity over there that can tell me exactly what to do. And it's like, no, those people work for we the people. And it's just like all this stuff. It's like, well, they're going to do this stuff to our cars. They're going to do all this other stuff. We have to have these flock cameras or whatever. And I'm not picking on flock. There's plenty of other companies not doing it. But it's just like, no, we the people say no. And, you know, they're gonna fight it. Oh, I guarantee you. And I think Flock is actually getting fought quite a bit. Um, and like I said, I'm not picking on them. But, you know, I'm sorry, I'm not gonna buy a 2027 car if it's got, cameras watching me. I will keep on fixing my own. And that's one thing people in Nebraska, if you can't find the parts because they stopped making them, we're in you know, we will make it ourselves. That's one thing nice being about in a farming community. We can do just about anything with baling wire, and that's just, you know, kind of what is said around here. Um, but we aren't such a pushover. And it's like, no, those people are elected by us or appointed, you know, by people we elect, and they are supposed to respond to what we, the people, want. And if we don't want that surveillance in our cars, on our streets, then it's about time we start stamping up and saying, no, we, the people, take our power back. take our power back. And until we do, we're not going to get our dreams because they're going to keep taking our power until we are not able to do anything. That I think is their ultimate goal. I don't believe it's going to happen. One thing, I talked to God, and you can believe whether you or not. God puts these ideas into my head. He told me when he first started talking to me a few years back, he says, I'm going to have you tell people their gifts, show them their gifts, and help them take their power back. Well, I guess I know what nobody's talking about now, and and then write a book, and at least one. And I know I've told you that before too, but he does talk to me. He really hasn't said anything today to me. He doesn't talk like this, but he doesn't like what's going on, and he is very aware of what's going on. And that is another thing. When we're so busy, we cannot hear God or the universe or whatever you want to believe. But there is somebody out there, an entity. It doesn't have to be he, because you cross paths. Just like yesterday, I crossed paths with this awesome Shane, who is going to be on the podcast. I'm going to record a podcast episode next week with him and his partner, and and we cross paths at the Y at the right time. Yeah, that doesn't happen. There is no such thing as coincidence. It's all laid out. So you cross people at the right time, and God is doing that day in and day out because he wants his people to have great life. He also wants his people to hear him and be able to go to church, worship. You know, like I've said before, worship is where two people gather. God does not really care. I mean, he probably likes it that you go to church, but he does not think it's necessary to get you moving forward. We're his children, and he wants the best life for us. And people are just like, well, evil and mean God. He's no different than a father, a mother who really cares about helping their children. It's like yelling at them when they run out in the street so they don't get hit by a car. That is what I find God to be like. And I truly think that is another reason why God is putting this in my heart, because he wants people to have the freedom to be able to hear him and do the dreams that he puts in his head. That I have said many times that if the dreams were put there, you have the wherewithal to do it. But if you don't have the time or the resources, um, you can't do it. And God can provide the resources, but if this other entity is taking them away or blocking them all the time, I don't think he finds not real happy about that. So he's putting people like myself and others out there to work on getting those resources freed up so people can do what they really want to do. If they're sick, they can stay home. They don't have to work 20 jobs to make ends meet. You know, I know people that are hungry because they're trying to pay their mortgage or their rent. I would be the same way. Cheryl and I could not pay what rent and mortgage is now. And I thank God that we were before all this insanity. But I think this insanity had to come about to get to the other side. That is what I believe. I've not been told that, but it's what I believe. So, so yeah, I need a drink of my kombucha. Thanks, Caleb, for the SCOBY. And as you notice, Caleb gets mentioned almost every podcast. He's probably rolling his eyes. But yeah, SCOBY's awesome. If you never, or SCOBY's awesome. Kombucha's awesome, but you need SCOBY to make it. So getting back, don't believe the media, because they're spinning it to make you think that there's no hope. And I guarantee you, there's hope. There's so many good things going on in this country, in this world. I've done podcasts in probably half the countries now, and people are people. People want the best for themselves and their country. Have met Muslims and people from Islamic, you know, and I mean, yeah, we all have a different take on our religion or our spirituality. But I think when it gets down to brass tacks, we all want the same thing. I mean, I don't belong to a church anymore. I was at one time a Methodist, and I had no problem if you're Methodist or what you are. I don't like organized religion. Like I've said before, I'm spiritual. I know enough about God, and God has told me when I started this, because he came to me and is like, I don't know the Bible, and he's like, not a problem. It's not my Bible version anyway. And he said, what I need you to know, I will let you know. As long as you know the 10 Commandments and the basics, he says, well, we're good to go. And so don't dismiss yourself if God comes to talk to you and say, let's do this, a podcast or whatever he wants you to do. And it's just, I hate seeing so many people suffering because there's this entity which I know God works in mysterious ways, puts entities there, and I know I've talked about this before, to bring us together. Kind of like I said last, I think the other day on the thing with AI and the data centers. Could see him definitely doing that to bring us all together because social media, everything has kind of brought us apart. That would bring us together, trying to come against a common enemy. So he may be doing this with our government and other things. He does work in mysterious ways. So we come together against, you know, our government, what they're doing, what the government's doing over here. We get tired of it. It's like we're taking it no more. And we're starting our own podcast. We're talking in front of people. We're doing our newsletters. Whatever it is, whatever your dream is, you know, if it can help people, more power to you. And I think pretty much all dreams probably directly or indirectly help people. They help the person that captures the dream. But I believe that with Ripple, and I'm always, if anybody's listening to this, I'm very much for positive Ripple because when you do something positive, it goes out into the world immensely. You don't even know how far the ripple goes. And so, yeah, it is. It's amazing what God's doing. It's we're going through right now, I believe, is bringing us to that. Don't believe everything the media says. Um, and just 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 have hope. Hope is the best thing we can have out there. If you have hope, give it away. Give hope to everybody. Go out and talk to people on the street. Make those connections. I mean, that's one thing the podcast that just dropped the other day. The lack of connection is epidemic, at least in the United States, maybe other places. And when I go out and talk, people almost always want to have a connection with me. And I don't know if that's just what they think they have to do, but I love connections. And when you can work together, like maybe Shane and I and his partner will do with what's going forward, or anybody else I meet. Who knows what I'm going to meet today? You never know where life's going to take you. From when I get done recording this podcast, Cheryl's working, and then I think we're going probably somewhere, probably to Hastings. Imagine that later today. But we don't know who I'm going to meet. I have no idea what God's got planned for me the rest of this day or the rest of my life, which could end today. None of us know. So make everything count now. Do your dream now. And you have to figure out a way, along with myself, how we can get people to the doctor, how they don't have to work so much. How are we going to do that as a group, as a community, as a civilization? Because I think our future, awesome future, counts on it. So um, I think since I'm in the sun, I better not let this go on any longer because it's going to say the phone is going to say it's too hot since I'm recording this on my phone. And I just wanted to show that you can do a podcast anywhere in today's technology. I'm sitting out on my picnic table by my walkout on a very warm day, and just get your voice out there. The world's waiting for it. So on that, take care. Talk to you next time.